Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a coffee talk. I don't know if it's completely useless. Oh, brute. It made me get up earlier. I'm tired. Is that useful? Perhaps those that are a bit busy cutting things left, right, and center. That's right. Yeah, just cut the whole thing. Good coffee. As you may notice, we don't have Pilgrim. I think maybe the head fake on Daylight Savings may have got him. This has happened probably every year since we've been doing this, so we'll see if he ends up showing up. As you can see, it's nice and dark, though, in the room here. Sun's not going to be up for a little bit, but good morning, everybody. How's it going? We got a lot of stuff going on in World of Tanks, actually. Put out a video about the matchmaker change thing. We'll kind of save that to the end, and we can have a little discussion. I laid out my thoughts on it, but this is more interactive format, so could be good discussion. Good morning, Zimbo. Have you been up all night? That's too bad. Yeah, the government has stole an hour from us. My understanding was that they had voted to get rid of it. But clearly, that's not completely true. I guess they had voted, and then there was something else they had to do, and they didn't bother to vote for it because they're too busy being a bunch of morons. But I don't know. Wise ones always showed up early to squadron. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, fellas. Well, there's a lot going on, actually, this week in good old World of Tanks. Quite a bit going on. Like I said, we've got the matchmaker change thing. We've got battle passes just started. There's some changes to that are kind of interesting. Good morning, Eighth Hussers. So lots of cool stuff to talk about. So let's see here. Channel news firstly. Indiana never had. Yeah, Indiana and Arizona. And is there one other state? I think there might be one other state that doesn't do it. I'm going to change that camera a little bit. I finished the CDT. Hawaii, there you go. I finished the CDT. So let's cruise over here. The mighty Char de Transition, which I was cruising along pretty well at. Close to 60%, 58 to 60, kind of back and forth, and then fell on some hard times towards the end of the grind, and ended up at 55%. So this will be interesting. Let's take a look at it because it has a tank that's more or less exactly the same. I think it might be exactly the same. The CDT and the ARL. The ARL, I actually only have 105 games, so I must have done some kind of hunter battle thing on it as well back in the day. And I ended at 52 with it and 55 with the CDT. But look at the difference in the stats. It's still a small sample size, but it kind of illustrates the idea of where the win rate kind of comes from when you look at the stats. So the CDT, 55%, a 45% survival rate, whereas the ARL down at 30. And that's a huge, big deal. CDT, I've got 2.27 destruction and 1.56 damage, whereas the ARL is lower at 1.46 and 1.84. I thought the armor use thing's interesting. I have a better armor use on the ARL than the CDT, but I think that speaks more to the power creep in the game than anything, really. The damage per game on the ARL is 987 and 205 assist. This may speak also to me being a little bit better player. 1,224 damage and 267 assists. So all those numbers in the CDT kind of adding up to be a little bit better of a win rate. 15, man. Thanks, Odd Dog. How you doing? Good morning. Beans are ground, water's boiled, grounds are steeped, coffee is good. Yes. Yep. You want to stay on this time, Odd Dog? I don't care, honestly. I mean, I'd kind of like to fall back and stay there. But if we have to do it, I don't care. I mean, as long as it gets done, we don't have to do this stupid back and forth stuff. It's just dumb. All right. So yeah, finished that thing. Americano, Brute, very good. Sounds like you're home then, and not sitting in a airport somewhere waiting to go. Good morning, 442. How you doing? So this is nice. I am done. I've stripped it, as you can see. This crew's gonna probably never play the game again unless I Well, maybe in the future I might strip some of the crews and start turning them into something else. We'll talk a little more about that later. But I don't have to play this tank anymore, which is good because here's my overall assessment of the CDT. Big, slow, boring, bad armor heavy tank. Did I cover it? Is that about right? You guys agree with that? Gunner's Human. Missed you as well. How you doing? Indiana. Yeah, you said Indiana. All right. I don't know what happened to Pilgrim. I think he got by daylight savings because England and we do not do it at the same time. So I'm guessing that he will be here in an hour, halfway through. I did send him a note, but he hasn't been on Discord for a while, so I don't know. Has anyone seen him on Discord for a while? Don't know. Hopefully everything's all right. It's very dark in here right now, even with my little LED light thing going on. Good morning, Gator. What else we got going on? Still working on other tanks. We're doing, what else are we doing? We're doing the Sherman. Battle Pass has started, so I'm starting to get Battle Pass points. I'm 10 stages, I guess, along. We'll talk about some ways you can boost that if you want to. So I got the Sherman going on. I continue to work on the Manticore, trying to get it up to my 5th most played tank. Crocodile, not bad. I like this. Still fighting along at 63% on this. Doing pretty well with the Sherman at 66%. I probably just jinxed myself on that one for sure. Skoda at 61%. Actually, 2-marked this thing, the Skoda 217. Yeah, he's down in the basement in his... That's right. Down in the crypt down there. Tessac is still irritating the living snot out of me. Every now and again, I have a massively awesome game, and then the rest of them are garbage. Sit at 45%. That's horrible. Could be stretching the truth, DCardi. I don't have a basement, though, so he can't be in my basement. And I don't think he does either. In fact, I know he doesn't because I've been to his place. And that's what we're doing with tanks. With home improvement, literally one thing got done last week. And it was just sanding a sharp edge on one of the pieces of... it's not marble, it's the quartz, right? Yeah, quartz. Sanding one of the edges of the quartz, which was actually sharp from the cut. They didn't bother to sand it, so it was actually sticking out as you walked by in the bathroom. If you happen to rub your arm against it, you would probably come away with a bit of a slice. It was that sharp. So we sanded that down. Guy came in, took like 3 minutes, and that's all we've had done. But theoretically, next week we're going to get the crown molding piece that's been missing for a month. Then get the caulking, and then at some point try to get the painter guy, who's always been the slowest of all of them. Oh yeah, I know what it was, Zimbo. Yep, the body snatcher. Hey, what's going on? Vase Roy, appreciate the raid. How y'all doing? Fair warning, we were just talking today. We talk about World of Tanks and gaming and whatever on Sunday mornings. So generally we don't play, but hang out. We're going to talk all about World of Tanks and what's going on, Battle Pass, the matchmaker change that's coming up, all of mission specials, all that kind of stuff. Gator, that's where we are, man. I'm honest to goodness, that's where we are. I did get up in the attic and start dragging some stuff out yesterday, and then realized how less than agile I am these days, and thought, my son's coming home in a couple weeks. I think I'm gonna send him up there, and then I'll have him drop the stuff down to me, so I can, because it's one of those fold-out ladder dudes getting up there. No year was specified, Cliffy. That is 100% true. I've come to that conclusion. I thought, well, I did think we'd certainly be done by now, for sure. We have some friends building a house, and they're going through the same thing in a vastly scaled up version of a whole house being built. That was supposed to be initially done last Christmas. And now we are pretty quickly getting into 3 months past for them. And I think they're pushed back to April or May. Might even be May 1st, I believe. Crazy stuff. So that's what's going on. Put the garden in last weekend. What else have I done? Nothing that matters. I did play a bit this week, which is nice. I did get some games in, and they went better. So it's the slump. Well, I won't say the slump is over. This last 4 or 5 days have been much better. Zimbo, the 32 years. Okay, Zimbo. So at 32 years, is that still on the list, or have you just accepted that there will be no baseboard in the kitchen? It is still on the list. Wow. Okay. I like it. I just redid my list. I don't know if you guys have the same thing. Mine happens to be a Word document on my desktop, and it's called Guido's Brain. And I put a lot of stuff in there, but I just redid my list of things. And the cool thing is, I actually took a few off this time. I went, oh yeah, I did that a couple weeks ago, or I did that a couple months ago. So that was good. But I added twice as many as I took off. That's the problem. That's the problem with that one. All right, what else are we doing? Let's see. I haven't really played a whole lot of other games this week. It was mostly World of Tanks. In fact, I don't think I opened another game. I guess I did DCS on Monday with O'Brute. We raged around and flew a bit. But other than that, I didn't do any Mech Warrior 5 or Age of War Wonders or Panzer Corps 2. I actually opened up Steam yesterday trying to figure out, is it Odd Dog? Probably not, but it probably could be. And I think hot on its heels is a remodel. Or maybe those two are together. I don't know. If somebody asked me from a relationship standpoint, if I recommended doing a remodel, no. Don't. Just accept that whatever is crappy and move on with your life. If you want to get in fights about stuff, and not necessarily just fights, but if you want to get into disagreements, let me put it that way. If you want to get into disagreements with your spousal unit, then do a remodel or build a house. It's awesome. I think that's it for channel news, guys. We'll keep on trucking. Missions and specials. Blue light special. Come on. I think it's dying. Pretty sure it's going to be dead here pretty soon. All right, what do we got going on? I think there's actually quite a bit going on. Let's start here. I don't know if you noticed this, but you have a new tank. Does everybody know they have a new tank? A free tank? If they've played any games whatsoever, you have the FCM 2C. Most of you should know that. Raise your hand if you didn't know this. It's a tier 3 free tank. It really is kind of a TOG-esque tank. Go check it out here. It's French. It is a tank that was in development at the end of World War I. It's actually a heavy tank at tier 3, of which there are only 2. It's still garaged. Is this the tank that they were initially sort of talking about and showing with the 2 turrets thing? But as you can see, it's definitely got that World War I long tank for going over the trenches idea. But there's also the more modernized, the turret idea up here. Although it does have these, I can't remember what the word is. I want to say casements. Maybe they are casements, but little cannons kind of out the front right there. So if you're cruising along, those might be machine guns actually. Yeah, they appear to be machine guns. So as it's cruising along, headed towards the trench, you can lay fire out in front of it like that. It's got a cannon, 75 millimeter. It's got another smaller, maybe another machine gun potentially right there in the front. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then it looks like a machine gun turret in the back. Sponson? Thank you, DeCardi. It's a sponson. That is the word. That is the word I could not think of. Crew of 12 in real life? Oh, wow, that's awesome. So in the game, it's got 2 radio operators. Somebody made a pretty good point about this. They said, you know, you can train 2 French light tank crews in this. Now, you're going to have to change qualifications, except for the radio, well, probably also for the radio operators, because there's no light tanks that just have a radio operator, I think. In any event, you got 6 guys being trained in here, and if you're willing to pay gold to switch them to something else, well, there you go. You're training 6 guys at tier 3. Is that where it was, Gator? You're right. It was the boss tank, wasn't it? I had forgotten about that. It was the boss tank. All right. You have another alt on Steam. I didn't bother to start another one on Steam. I just stuck with the standalone. It was the 2 turret trial in the mini mode. All right, well there you go. That brain cell, that synapse fired in the back of my skull, and there you go. Well, this is it, fellas. I played a game, I think, maybe 2. I lost. All I know is I lost. Yep, I did lost. I did lost. Oh, dude, couldn't link the accounts. Okay. Nice. All right, what else you got going on? Well, International Women's Day, guys. If you've not looked in here, and this is actually pretty good because there's 4 crew members that are available. I have 3 of them so far. One of them has a voiceover. I think these are all retreads. So that she was from the Pumpkin Bash. This one was from Pumpkin Bash. Are they all Pumpkin Bash? They are. All right, all from the Pumpkin Bash. But for some reason, one of them has a voiceover. Is that because that was the commander, maybe? Let's find it. Here we go. So Deidre does not have it. Where's the one that has the voiceover? Yeah, I guess she's the commander, right? Yes. Oh, they're locked into skills as well, or to roles, or whatever the heck it is. So you'd have to pay to change that. All right. So Cordelia has a voiceover, and it's yeah, it's as annoying as you might think. Cool. Pumpkin? You love the pumpkin bash or just the pumpkin flavor? You cannot be serious, oh brute. Are you like a pumpkin spice guy? I saw a car yesterday that I think had pumpkin spice stenciled on the back of it for some reason. Pie's okay. Pumpkin pie is. Have you seen the old lady trying to say pumpkin pie? She's got a TikTok and maybe Instagram or whatever, and she's just completely ornery. You were a late convert. I will absolutely have a piece of pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving or Christmas if someone offers it with some whipped cream on top, but only one and only a thin slice. I feel like that's kind of a taste of the holiday, but I don't want it infused in anything else. I don't want pumpkin anything. But Brute, thanks, man. Much appreciated. No, pure pumpkin mixed with oats and a bit of maple. Okay, well, I have to admit, I've never tried that. Maybe I would. I would certainly give that a shot just to see how it went. Although cinnamon's not my favorite thing either. It's okay. So there's a couple things that are already in there that I'm not that jazzed about. Also, protein powder tastes like sand. I feel like you're trying to trick me with that. That feels like a trap. All right. So anyway, yes, this is easy, more or less. It does take some grinding, though, and this goes till the 13th, so you do have some time. If you're wondering where the little red dot in your barracks is coming from and you hadn't paid attention, it's coming from here because you're getting these 4 crew members and some decals and whatnot. A pink bow and white sakura, plus the iron seal, which I guess is what you need to get to the next set. Eventually, you're going to come up with Kintsugi armor style. Only just to tie it together. Yeah, 80 tanks is a lot. That will take a while, that's for sure. So get to grinding, guys. Come on, what are you doing? You're falling behind. Falling behind. FOMO. If you don't hurry up and play this game, you will not get your 4 crew members, and then you won't have a barracks absolutely stuffed full of special characters you have not put in a tank yet. Look at this. I was going to save this to talk about, but let's talk about it right now. It struck me that these special characters are potentially, when this new crew thing happens, going to be very useful, especially if you don't need them, because that's a bunch of experience that you can then suck the life out of them. The body snatchers, essentially, you can body snatch your I was going to say captive, but let's say guests. We'll call them guests in your barracks. Let's not say they're captives, but you can body snatch them and put their essence into another crew member and make that crew member stronger. It's a little creepy, actually. Yeah, but all kidding aside, as unfunny as all that was, you're going to be able to take all this experience, because these guys have experience, right? Because they can two skills, blah, blah, blah. Or at least one skill. Oh, I never noticed this. Check this out. Look at the difference in the color on the pluses, like Jason here. So he's got enough to pick two skills at 100, because it's a slightly different color, and then the third one is just the third skill he'll be training on. I've never noticed that before. I see what they did there. Very cool. Look at old Stefan down here. He just doesn't have anything. He's terrible. I have Simon and Stefan. These are actually body snatchers, these two. Because they're not the original Stefan and Simon claws. These are fakes. These are the body snatcher version of these guys. Do I have any? I don't think I have the originals. I think I already put the originals in tanks. Because the originals were really good. These were Christmas guys from a while back. Zimbo, I very often find stuff in the client that I'd never noticed before. And I've been doing this for a long time. Or that I knew at one point and forgot. I got too much crap in my brain, man. It can't all stay in there. It can't all stay in there. So that's where you got your FCM2. That's where you got the crew members, if you didn't know. Also, too, and in addition to, you won't see it here for me because I already took it, but don't forget there's the free thing in the store. So if you go to store, you go to best, slide down to the bottom, you should be getting free doodads. They've started that thing back up and it works. At least for me it works. Also, check this out. This is a change in Battle Pass. So go to Battle Pass, up here in the top right. Notice Battle Pass Vault. Unlike in the past, the past pass, the pass of the past, you had to unlock all three of the, what are they called? Chapters. Now you do not. As you can see, I already have 200 points. I can go into the Battle Pass Vault, and I can start purchasing doodads. Works on one and not the other. That's weird. Makes you wonder if some of that data is somehow locally on your machine in the file. But that doesn't make any sense, though. Some free chips in the Battle Pass section of the store. Very nice. So 200. Look at that. So bonds right off the bat. And it's going to depend on what you want. So what can you get? 3D styles, I have all of them. But if you don't have all of them, then you might want it. There's no reason to buy two of any of these. So there you go. 2D customization elements, I don't know. That's up to you. You've just got to have one of these things. There you go. But there's decals and doodads and camos. If you just have to have one, go for it. But otherwise, I would not use my points on that. Here is an interesting one. These are all the old crew members. I don't remember them being available if you'd already had them in the past. I could be wrong. Another thing I probably didn't notice if it was true. But now we're talking about 600 points, which I don't have, or gold. I would not spend that much gold on a character, but I could if I wanted to. You can't see it, but the purchase light just came on. You could be getting these crew members, and then again, when the crew member thing happens, you could be sucking the life out of them and injecting it into a steroid crew. I thought that was very interesting, actually. So I'm going to move my little camera just so we can check this out. For example, old Wotan Foch. I can't do this because I don't have the points, but I can do that and check it out. I can purchase any of those crew. I don't know how many times you can do it, whether it's infinite. I haven't tried it yet, but something to think about. Personally, it's bonds for me right now. I'm kind of low at 2,100. I spent a bunch. Also, check that out. If you did not get the tier 6 tanks from 2 battle passes ago, 3 now, whatever it is, they're in here. 4 points, or chips, I guess, not for coins. So there's 3 tanks right there just for your SA. And we got to try to get back out here because also the tokens thing is open. We come over here and now we got the stuff for tokens. And here's my usual advice on this. Make sure you're getting yourself first out of your first 3 coins is get yourself some bounty equipment. Although, to be honest, at this point, this has been going on so long, there may be a lot of you who have plenty of bounty equipment and it's not your gig anymore. You might be more interested in the bonds or the reserves. They're down here at the bottom as well. So it's really to taste. For me, I'm still gathering up bounty. I'll just keep grabbing bounty. It's 3 coins. It will slow you down on getting your tank because we do have a light tank, Arak. That's one of them. We'll take a look at the stats in a minute. It's for 20, and where's the other guy? There it is. Heavy tank object 265T. I find it interesting that these 2 are still up top. I don't really know why you would not put the new ones here. Actually, this one's for 28. Maybe it's cost, or do these cost more than 28, or are these all 28? I don't know. In any event, that's a new one, the tier 9. There's a lot of tanks in here, fellas. So kind of depending on how much Battle Pass you've been doing, you've got lots of options when you start getting enough coins. These will be removed with compensation on December 19th. Remember, the coins last the whole year, so all 3 Battle Pass chapters. You can keep building them up, so you're not forced really to spend them. The only thing about that, once again, is each Battle Pass you have 1 opportunity to do this, to get a bounty. So that means that you can get 3 pieces of bounty equipment through this store over the year, but you have to do it during each chapter. It'll refresh, but if you didn't grab it this chapter, then next chapter you won't be able to do 2. You'll only be able to do the 1. That should be clear as mud. I think everyone knows that, but maybe there's new people watching. Oh, we got Pilgrim trying to call in. Seeing chat down there. All right, we're going to take the stream down real quick. I'll get Pilgrim locked in, and we'll be right back. Hey, look who I found. Check this guy out.
Hello. I was just walking past as a tramp at the end of his garden. He's like, yo, come in and take Pilgrim's place.
All right.
Oh, wow, man. Awesome. Yeah, I'm good. You?
Good, man. How's it been going out there?
All right, yeah, we got sunshine. Been out all day yesterday on the bike, so yeah, it was cool. We've got Custodians Fest on the 21st of June, so if you guys are over in the UK, you're more than welcome to Grimthorpe's Castle. You remember you met Dougie?
Yeah.
He was a retired colonel from the Lifeguards. Well,
Yep.
His friend, another retired colonel, owns a 30,000-acre estate in the north of Lincoln, and he's just lent it to us for the bike.
Wow.
Bike club festival. I know,
Oh,
yeah, it's
man.
crazy. So we did the recce yesterday, and it was like amazing. It's just like, it's a castle. So what more can you ask?
So in the morning, there's going to be several dozen 60-year-olds passed out on the couches and out in the fields.
Yep.
And
Finding them in cow pats lying with the face down.
not you though. You'll be sitting there in the rocking chair with your cuppa and your
Yes.
and your whip.
Yes. Yeah. Come on, get up, you lazy buggers.
Oh, dude, that sounds like a hoot, dude. That sounds like fun, man. Enjoy that. I have a friend who rides motorcycles. He does several things like that where they'll go out to people's farms up in like Georgia and Alabama and just like do a cookout for like 200 bikers. He goes up there. He's part of the crew. He's part of crew. So he'll be cooking for like 12 hours. They'll do a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. Because it's actually it started with the guys retired military as well, and these are mostly retired military guys, just like you dudes. They go down to there's a bike thing down Daytona. Maybe it might be Daytona. Might be
Yeah,
the
Daytona bike
might be the
race,
Daytona one, which is in the spring
Yeah.
or
That's cool.
early spring, late winter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I think he just did it. And one year, probably 20 years ago, someone said, "Hey, dude, could mind if we stop at your farm and we'll just hang out, sleep, and visit, and then we're gonna press on down there." And he used to go with him. Like he's older now, he doesn't go with him anymore. But the guy my friend knows. So my friend knew a guy who knew him. I think his brother-in-law, something like that. He's like, "Hey, why don't you come up here?" This was probably 15 years ago for him now. Come up here. It's kind of fun. We'll ride up. We'll kind of help my brother-in-law out and whatever. And end up just doing it. Now he just goes up there, and it's like they feed like 200 people.
It's crazy, isn't
Yeah.
it? Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably not that big. We're probably about 100, 120 or so. But we do it for, there's a charity over here called the Army Benevolent Fund, the ABF. And because the retired colonel who owns this castle is well into the ABF, as long as we give like 50% of the profits to the charity, he's give it to us free of charge, you know.
Yeah.
So he's closed the whole place down because it's a tourist attraction.
Sure.
So he's given up a whole sort of weekend's worth of.
Oh, it's a listed building, and you can go in there during the week and visit, or go to the gardens, walk around the gardens, all that.
Well, next time you're over, I'll get you a free invite for you and your family, so you and your missus and her family can take a trip down to Grimsthorpe and spend the weekend down there.
We've visited several of those, and they're
sort that.
really cool actually in England, because they almost always have some kind of fancy garden, and there's always a little tea shop or coffee shop there. And
that's it. There's a farm shop on this one. You can go into a little tea room and that. Yeah. And plus, every castle is haunted, so there's a story behind it. You know what I mean? So it's cool. You know what I mean? Yeah,
probably the coolest ones are probably the slightly newer stately manors. The ones that are more in the 1700s to early 1800s tend to be more ornate and crazy. They're not actual castles. They just sort of look like them. Those are cool.
Yeah, they call them follies, don't they, or something
like
that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, welcome. As you might have noticed, it's daylight savings time here.
Yeah. Like I didn't know.
All according to plan.
I was relaxing in the sunshine on my deck chair, going through my phone, and I thought, oh, pop Discord on, see what's happening. Put Discord on, saw your message, and went, shit! Ran upstairs.
Well, actually, you're 30 minutes earlier than I thought you would be.
Cool. All right, that's fine.
I'd have figured you'd have showed up on time with your tea. We were talking about Battle Pass. Have you done any of it yet?
Yeah, I've. Have you touched on 1.28 yet?
Not yet. We haven't got there. We're kind of in missions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've got some stats and figures for you actually.
Okay.
But anyway, Battle Pass. I just started it yesterday actually, and it's the same old. I'm sort of like just grinding through. I think I'm at level 4 now, something like that. So. Not too far, but I mean it's the same old rewards. I don't know about these tanks. That tank you get given free straight off.
FCM.
That's a weird old beast. I've just seen your video on it, and I was like,
yeah. We just chatted about that. So you've got one in your garage too. All you had to do is play a game, basically.
Yeah. I know. I've seen it. So I was like, shall I play with it? I thought tier 3. I can't go and play tier 3. That's naughty. You know,
it's fun right now because it's full of those things. It's just FCM, 2Cs punching each other in the face. The only bummer with it is it doesn't do battle pass points. Tier 4 is the lowest battle pass points.
It's a shame, isn't
it? Teenage Mutant Ninjas collab.
Didn't see that. No, I don't think so. There is
we had one back.
We
had one. What server are you on, Madam Yorktown? Are you over on? You must be on. Asian server or something, or you over on RU or something. I don't know. We had that a while back. There are some collabs coming. We'll talk about those. Yeah, we've been talking about Battle Pass, what you can get for the points. I don't know if you knew this, Pilgrim, but the Battle Pass is open. The points thing is open immediately. You don't have to go through all 3 chapters to open it up.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So dig around.
Something else attached to it, isn't there? What's the other thing? They've got yet another collective.
Well, they're called chips now, but that just replaced points. It's the same. It's the same idea.
Okay.
There's some more things that are available.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You get 100 chips given to you straight off, don't you?
I think so.
For doing the game, for playing a game. You get that tank and you get 100 chips or something like that.
Oh, is that what it was? I didn't actually notice that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, no,
there you go.
Because I think, what am I going to spend this on? So I went to the shop, and everything starts at 1,000 chips. So you've got a long way to go to get anything. You know what I mean?
There's also this thing in the store, which is another crew member for 3,000 gold and some other doodads. And then there's this supply lines. Now this is 1,500 gold, and you get some personal reserves, but you also get 300 battle pass points.
Okay.
So that's a way to boost 1,500 gold to boost. That tab that says random voucher reward is the free. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't notice that. Available 0. Did I already do it?
Yeah, I think once you played one game or something, you get everything.
You do not have any vouchers. Oh, did I already do it? Do I have 100 vouchers for some reason?
I'm just opening up the client now, but I'm on the European client at the moment. That's where I'm getting my little stats for 1.8 when we talk about it.
But why? Hold on. He says I have it, but maybe I just didn't notice it. I got no vouchers, dude. Oh, you're talking about chips, not vouchers.
Yeah, chips.
Do I also have vouchers for some reason? And I just can't. You do not have any vouchers. You can earn them in the elite circuit. You guys are confusing me with the vouchers and the chips. I have no vouchers.
And the keys. Have you got keys?
No, I know how you get vouchers, but I thought someone was saying I can get 100 free ones. I don't think I got 100 points. Did I get 100 points free? 100 chips?
Yeah, I did when I just played one game. They
Really?
give me 300 chips.
Okay.
So you would have 200 now.
Right. Huh. All right. That makes sense because I have 10 stages, I guess. Weird. All right.
I'm just opening the client, so it might make my Discord go a bit wonky. Hang on.
All right.
I've
Cool.
got a story about internet engineers later on as well.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
They came out again.
Well, yeah, but the cowboys, mate, they're absolute cowboys. I had to go and reset the whole thing myself, but we'll talk about it later. You know what I mean?
They're
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Paid a lot of money for nothing. You know what I mean? Jeepers. Sauces.
Whatever it takes, Gunnar Schumann. 220, 221, whatever it takes. All right, so International Women's Day is just to finish up missions and special. Women's Day, FCM2. The last then, of course, is going over and seeing what kind of silliness we have in the preemie shop. What do we got? International Women's Day, you can buy it.
Like pink camouflage if you want.
Do I have this thing? What? I'm surprised this is for sale. I didn't realize. I lose track of the tank so much. I don't have that tank. The UDA 033 Supreme. How did this come out?
Doesn't that look as if it should be a TD?
It does. I don't have this
TNI.
tank.
No, I haven't got that. How did that come out? When did that come out? Where? How?
Did it come out as just for sale or boxes or how did it get
I've
released?
never seen that before.
That's wild. I didn't even know that was
It's pink. I told you it'd be pink, didn't I?
autoloader medium tank. Huh. Well, there you go. That's
with impressive aiming time, accuracy, and high shell velocity, as per all the Swedish. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be hitting hard and fast, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't have it. Okay.
How much it is.
Yeah, it came out last year. How did it come out? Everyone's like, it came out last year. Okay. Was it sold or was it part of a box thing? Or that's kind of interesting, actually. Anyway, the Kari is in there as well. I don't have anything to buy Battle Pass. Essentially, once you purchase it in the client, all those specials to buy the whole thing go away. The 100 chips. Okay, got it, Cliffy. Cool. Standard and gold, nothing really there. Nothing there. Vehicles wise, what do we got? Nothing there. So not a whole lot in the store. Just this very interesting UDES 033, which is $50. All right.
How is it?
Yeah.
Okay. What does it come with? Just it, or does it come with a package?
This one's just the tank.
Let me have a look.
Yeah, $50 for a tier 9 medium.
Okay.
That's crazy. Actually, hold
See
on.
what it is in Europe. I'll tell you how much.
Actually,
in Europe, so.
I'm not getting the full data here. For some reason, I logged out while I did all this. Let me log back in here.
Okay, there is a package in Europe.
Yeah.
So you get the for, well, it's £112. So what's that? $120 maybe.
Yeah.
Right, there is a package. $120 gets you 6 million credits. 25 bonus plus 100% to experience.
Zemke, thank you. What are you looking at? The vehicle?
Yeah, in Europe you get a vehicle with a package. Gold 10,000.
Oh, I
you get
gotcha.
a vehicle, you get a garage slot, you get 6 million credits, you get 25 bonus plus 100% to experience earned in battle. You get 35 missions for 5 XP in the UDES. 35
In the
times 5.
Oh, you're talking about the package with with all the doodads for 90. Yeah, this it's actually $92 for us, or at least for me.
$92.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper in the States than it is in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. With gold and all the rest of it. Okay.
All right, so there are some vehicle specials because I was not logged in. There's the ELC is still there. The 50 TP. By the way, Zemke, thanks, man. Much appreciated. Lurva's got a package. It's all the times 5 kind of garbage. So this was pretty much, I think this is the same stuff that was out there last week. So other than the UDES 03 alt thing, there's not a whole lot going on in the store right there. But Battle Pass is where it's at right now. Faux show. I think that's it for missions and specials, guys. Yep.
I think so. That looks like
Subjects du jour. Google says it came out in August of 2024. But I wonder, was it just for sale? Was it attached to something? I'm making you guys do my research. Sold during the 14th anniversary. Well, there you go. No event, just sold. Interesting. There is an article on, what's it called? Armored Patrol, talking about how few tanks are actually just brought out sold as opposed to in an event or a battle pass or boxes or whatever. And it's very few compared to what it used to be. Purely released, just, all right, it's going in the store immediately. And that must have been one of them. One of the few.
Yeah.
Didn't make much of a splash.
No.
I'm kind of curious what its stats look like. Let's check it out. Where are we going? Here we go. Let's find this thing. What? It's a tier 9 medium. Is that true?
Yeah.
How good is that thing? Or bad? Okay, we got mediums. Oh, wow. Number 2 in win rate.
Really?
Apparently it's
How
decent.
many games though? How many battles does that have?
16,000. That's NA. Let's see what
okay.
EU thinks about it. EU is a little worse. EU has it 4th. With a .91 win rate differential on EU and less, .18, but positive at tier 9, which is unusual. You know, there's only a few that are positive. Even the KPZ, which is really good, is only .95 win rate differential.
Right.
Char Murat, that's pretty funny. Somebody's testing the Char Murat. It's got 508 battles. That's one of the tanks that's in the files now, or in Super Test, or maybe it's actually in Common Test now. It's being played. DZ, not Common Test, but being tested. There's no Common Test right now. So KPZ is pretty close, 0.18, 1.18. Huh. I guess it's pretty good. Yeah, you better get it, Wayne. Everyone go get it.
Get it now.
Because it will make you...
Before it disappears.
Yeah, and it'll make you win.
Yeah. We need to talk about that, actually. Making you win.
In what context?
I've got completely, utterly biased, skewed facts and figures for you for the
Oh, good.
1.28 when
Okay,
we get there.
okay.
Completely biased.
All right. 1.28. You're talking about the one that's coming or this one? The one that just came out?
The one that just come out.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
All right, because the one that's coming is the one that just come out has sorted Matchmaker out, or is the one that's coming?
No, the matchmaker thing is a future.
Wow. Okay, that's. I didn't read it properly because then I am now flabbergasted. Absolutely
All
flabbergasted.
right. All right. All right.
Ah,
All right.
because I thought because it said it was on the EU1 server that it's going to do it on, right? The new matchmaking. When I updated the computer on the client on Friday, I think it was Friday morning, I spent 30 games testing the MM out on EU1, and I was absolutely chuffed to bits with the MM. I was like, oh, they've sorted it at last. Obviously, they haven't done anything because it's in the future. So I then thought, I'm going to count how many games I'm having here and what's it. So everything was matching up fantastically. I was playing the conceiver, and there was another conceiver on the other side, and it was all like 2-tier, and I won 75% of my games. I won over 30 battles. I was like, that's the stats for me. Sorted for Pilgrim. Happy days. But it's not. I'm going to fall
So there's
when I play this afternoon.
so there's lies, damn lies, and Pilgrim statistics.
Yeah. I had it all down on
You
the
have
paper.
you have somehow what do they figure like on a quantum level everything's connected, and they have this computer that's doing this quantum stuff, and they think,
Yeah.
and there's some theoretical ideas that this computer is actually reaching into other universes to do its calculations.
Yes, that's what's happened.
Your personal matchmaker on your machine has reached into all the other universes and possibilities, and it's already operating with the new system.
Yeah, it is.
Just
It is.
yours,
I mean,
though.
every battle I had was amazing.
Just yours.
Just mine. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was getting a win. Do you know that you get like a coupon for doing good?
Yeah.
You know, it goes, oh, you've had 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I've had 3 of those. You know what I mean? Because I had 4 in a row, then I lost 4 in a row, then I lost, and then all this lot. And I was going, oh, I love this matchmaking. It's well sorted. So every game I was giving it thumbs up and everything. Going, whoa, Wargaming, you're fucking brilliant. Excuse me. I'm gonna fall so dramatically this afternoon.
Did you get the new badge? Bestest new matchmaker playtester badge?
That's me. The happiest guy alive. Ooh, here he is.
Zemke,
Okay.
my understanding is some universes already have several.
Several pilgrims.
Yeah. Well, he is pilgrim number whatever it is. One of many.
Yes.
One of many. Pilgrim of
One
many.
of many.
Pilgrim of many. That's absolutely hilarious.
I am but a decal.
All right.
Damn. Anyway, there we go.
These, I'm going to shift myself over. These are the 2 new tanks, guys, for Battle Pass that are available. And here's the stats. One's a light tank, one's a heavy. I'm not comparing the two. We're just taking a look. Let's start with the Arak 105 prototype. I think it's a tracked light tank, right? 320 damage. Not an auto-loader, loader-reloader. 10-second reload for a 320 alpha. Okay, sure. -8 gun depression is okay. 1.8 is fast. 0.35 is okay accuracy. Pretty low, 1872, kind of standard light tank stuff. That seems exceptionally low, though, for a tier 9, even for a light tank. 1,300 hit points and no armor. Speed-wise, it does 70. It moves. Not
Fast.
bad. Yeah, not bad. 23 backwards. That's pretty good for a track tank. 30 specific power, which means it will get up and move quickly. And then it's got 16, which is not fantastic on its camo. 390 view range. 16. It's hard, yeah, down here 16. It's okay. It's kind of big actually for a light tank. I don't know. It looks like kind of a crummy medium with some light tank
Yes.
characteristics.
It's not quite Chaffee size, though, is it? But it's near.
Oh
as
no, it's not even
near-
close to. Yeah, it's not small. Then the Object 2265T, which is a rear-mounted turret, 390 Alpha, but it's this Russian reverse autoloader, loader, reloader, loader, reloader. It's faster with the first shell, 10.5, which is only getting you 390 Alpha. It's got a decent DPM at 2,219, not amazing, but of course it's got the burst potential. I say that because there's 3 seconds between the 3 shells, or 3 seconds between shells. So what's that? 3, 6, 7 or 8 seconds to get all 3 down range. Counting aiming. Only -6 on the gun depression.
It's not a lot, that is it?
Now check this out though. 130 hull armor, 300 turret armor.
Yeah, you've got to have high roll, big pen to be able to put through that. That's a beast, isn't it? 300.
Oh yeah, man. I must have got rid of it. Give me a second. I'm gonna find this thing. I already had it set up, but then I closed that tab. Tanks, full list. Let's get USSR Tier 9 heavy tank, 265T. Do this. Whoop. Now, definitely thick, good angle. Any kind of, someone lower than you, it's going to be very auto bounce. But look at the turret is what I'm really concentrating on. Now, it does have a larger tumor than most Russian tanks. So as you can see, that's for a Russian tank, that's a pretty big tumor. And that's good because we're talking 300 armor on this freaking turret. I like this too right here. See that little tiny vision slit? Impacted armor 0. Spaced 300. I guess the glass is 300 millimeters thick and also made of metal. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that vision slit is not a weak spot, is what I'm getting at.
I mean, there is a turret ring if you can get in there, isn't there? You look at that. Even hull down, very, very. You can get, or is it? No, it's not a turret ring, is it?
I don't see it from the front. It looks
No,
like
it's not.
looks like the ring is as armored as everything else, from what I can tell.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, it's a bit slightly angled. It's the upper plate. That's
Oh, you were seeing that green? Yeah.
Yeah.
The top deck is not very thick at all, so I guess that if you were looked down, that'd be a good place to shoot into. But what's interesting also is there's a smaller turret right in front of the bigger one, and you can get, because it's rounded, if you get close to the side, you get these auto ricochet kind of angles. So if you're trying to aim at the center mass of the back turret, this front turret sort of gets in the way. And if you get any kind of
in the way, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's weak too, but there's some weird little spots here where you're going to get like an auto ricochet. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, that's what that armor looks like on that thing. Quite a bit of it.
Andy the Cupid in the house. What's a object? What's tech?
Andy, what's happening, man? What's a woe tech? Don't know. That one is not ringing a bell, man. So lots of armor, decently fast at 40. That's okay for a heavy tank. And it's got a 380 view range, just 10 less than the light tank next to it. Yeah. There you go. Those are the new Battle Pass tanks. What else? Oh, man. Guess what? Chicken butt. No. We have boxes
I don't know where
inbound.
this conversation's going.
We got boxes inbound again.
Really? What for?
Yeah. Well, what was it last year at this time?
Oh, Easter eggs.
No.
No? I don't know. Not St. Paddy's.
Oh, yeah.
They get it too often. They should be
Oh,
once,
yeah.
not every year.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Bloody Irish.
But there won't be any like, it won't be like Christmas. It'll be really, really insipid items in the boxes that nobody really wants, will it? You know.
That's
Directives.
the
Jackals.
second box event of the year.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of data on it, but it does show up here in the armored patrol. So we'll touch on that. But yeah, we got more boxes inbound. I don't know what tank. The Wojek is, or Wojek or whatever, is a CS 5356 Cross. Okay. Cliffy,
Taters, yeah.
Cliffy, only 300 days till Christmas. All right.
Yeah, only like 3/4 of the year to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the magic boxes are back.
This Christmas is going to be kind of wacky around my place.
Are you going to have everything done by then, are you?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead. But what I will say.
So what's happening this Christmas at your
Well,
place then? You inviting the world?
My Christmas wife did not get a good Christmas this last year, so I'm bracing for impact. For this one, I believe is probably going to start August or so after we get back from our July vacation.
You'll get home and the decorations will be in a box, being ready to put up. They'll be
A box.
in the hallway.
A box.
Or the boxes, yeah.
A 100 boxes. Oh, Andy, the Cupid's got us cut the lawn. I should have already done that.
I'm leaving it till next week. I'm not bothered.
I need to cut. I have stupid dollar weeds everywhere. I cannot get rid of these daggum things. Yeah, the first cut is the deepest, Wayne. 100%. I didn't
You
want
won't get rid of them because it's Florida, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everything grows twice as fast and twice as big in Florida. So
But the dollar weeds are super annoying.
Yeah.
Those are the most annoying ones. Anyway.
Employ somebody. Employ somebody to get rid of
I do actually employ somebody to mow my lawn in the summer because I just don't want to deal with it.
No.
I don't. All right, we're going to dive in here momentarily to subjects du jour because we've got a lot to talk about, but we have been at it for an hour. Not Pilgrim,
well, you
of course. Not Pilgrim, of course. We're going to take a
of course not.
5-minute break, and we will be right back.
A mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what, if you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. To the swamplands came the mountain teach his wisdom and pay his due. A man with a name only known to a few. To his followers, his words are true. Guido is the man, big and gruff. He used to fly jets, but now he does the tanking stuff. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. The mountains are home where he watches the moose and hummingbirds aplenty. But he saw the need for the Watt community to have a guru and lead them gently. Down the road to Unicom land will die, trying hard in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So we broadcast his message far and wide, using YouTube, Twitch, and various means, to lead you to the promised land of WR. Win 8 and damage counts. That a mortal man is only stuff of dreams. Win your flank and then go back, was his mantra for the pack, to which they shouted, yes, bossman, that we will. Win our flank and then flex back.
Okie dokie, we are back. Where were we? Oh, subjects du jour. Jimmy, thank you. Appreciate the sub. Thank you very much. Back in the 70s, 80s, I hated spring because all the dog stuff. I remember that, actually, when I lived in a place that had snow. I do remember that in Utah when we had dogs. Yeah, dude, it would be gnarly. It was because everything was soggy. Oh, man. That's funny. If they're green, they ain't weeds. Well, I embraced the weeds, dude, and I do some stuff with the yard, and my grass is okay, but there's a significant amount of weeds. But in Florida, if you just mow it, it looks good because it's just
it just looks green.
Not the dollar weeds though, because they're a different shape. They stand out. They're kind of a pain in the rear. What else? That makes two of us.
Yeah, it was Jimmy came late.
Got it.
And so did Grendel. So there was three of us.
Happy Sunday, Kedge. All right, where were we, man? Oh, we're doing subjects du jour.
We are. We're doing the stats that I managed to put together for the
Oh boy.
the new that's been deployed into EU1
Oh
in
boy.
the future.
We're gonna leave matchmaker update to the end.
We are.
Yeah. So let's see what else is going on here. Do. Yeah. All right. Cool. What else is a happening? Check this out. RU is getting a new tech tree. Not just a new line, but they're going to do a United Nations tech tree.
Because the United Nations have tanks.
I don't know,
Of course
dude.
they do.
I don't know.
Wow, I love it. Yes.
New mechanics, new experiences. See the enemy even if he thinks he's hidden. Remember we talked about that a while ago?
Yeah.
The pyrometer is a device that, when activated, allows you to detect enemy vehicles hidden behind vegetation. And if at least one outline point is visible behind obstacles as well. Wow. X-ray vision.
Yeah, X-ray vision. Because we've all got that, haven't we? We've all got Superman powers.
I guess the Russians are like, all right, we're tired of this spotting thing and hiding in bushes thing. We'll just put a device on. Instead of just making you visible, we'll put a device that makes you visible. I don't know.
Yes, in fact, why not just remove all the bushes, all the buildings, and all the boulders, and everything else you can hide behind, just have flat grass.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. That's exactly what it's going to be like, isn't it? Just flat grass everywhere.
Right, Grendel? Well, you can hide at the back, but you have to be outside of draw distance. or spotting distance. So you have to be outside the green line. Then you can be
Yeah.
radar from boats. Oh, is that what it is? Oh, right. Okay. There you go, Cliffy. That's probably the basic game mechanic, isn't it? Or similar anyway. So that's RU, not us. Nothing going on with us. The Merkava, okay, whatever. What are you? Yada yada. We talked about the Battle Pass tanks. Matchmaker we'll get to in a minute. Bunch of garbage. Here's another new tank joining Super Test. This is a Czech heavy tank, VZ60S. 450 shell damage, 11.5 cyclical gun. Relatively fast, 258 AP and an APCR at 315. 0.33 dispersion, 2-second aim. -8 gun depression. Pretty bog standard. Very strong turret at 310. Okay hole at 90. Not much to say about it. I mean, it's kind of just a bog standard heavy tank. Here's where I got this, Pilgrim. New 3D attachments for the St. Patrick's Day More Green event. There you go. Oh, you're going to love this. You can put a big barrel.
I am.
Yeah, you put a big brewer's barrel. Oh, I like that, actually.
Of course you would. Well, you would, wouldn't you?
That's great. I'm
You
putting
would,
that on
because
every
you're
tank I
just
have.
Well, you're just a pisshead, and it shows, doesn't it? Because you just drink far too much.
I think that was uncalled for.
Hey, seen you down at Tank Fest. You were never sober in the 48 hours we were down there. I carried you most of the
That's a
time.
lie.
You were rolling everywhere.
I
You
was-
were shouting abuse at Goose.
Hammered.
The arena. You know, I'm a better CC than you.
To be fair,
Luke.
Goose and Damien were well more.
They were actually.
Damien especially. Damien was
Yeah.
hurting that morning.
Definitely had a bad head.
Is Damien still streaming?
I don't know. I haven't. I've got him as a notification, but I've not seen anything come across.
Everyone says yes. Okay.
Oh,
He
yeah, okay.
he streams at night, and I rarely look at the streaming stuff at night anymore. All right, Brewer's Barrel, Treasure Chest. Okay, there you go. We got a camouflage net. Okay. Pot O Gold. They're always after me, Lucky Charms, and a Lucky Horseshoe. So this is the first pack created. Essentially, it's the first collection. All objects. Okay. Rarity determines whether. All right, so the Brewers is rare, Treasure rare, Camouflage rare, Pot of Gold's epic. So it looks like, I guess it has like gold flying around or something, or maybe it's only the legendary ones. But the Lucky Horseshoe is legendary. Doesn't that seem very arbitrary?
I think so. I think somebody's just chosen that out of spite.
Out of just pure hatred for us.
Yes, they just hate us that much. They've done it that way.
Notice there's no mention of a tank there. Oh wait, here's the Emerald
That's
box.
true.
Wait. Hold on. We got more data.
Oh,
What's it
hang
gonna
on,
do? Get ready, celebration full of surprises, themed customization elements, chance to lucky seals, more green event, boxes never change. They are standard boxes, not multi-tier. Yeah, okay, so not a lot of data yet. Unknown if there's a tank. I'd be surprised if there wasn't, but don't know. Special bundles we talked about. They have an article in here. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I struggle to think what tank they would put to it, because unless they've got something in Super Tank.
There's a couple that were just released, but I think they're all more or less spoken for what they're going to be put in. There's a list here coming up I think we'll take a look at. Because there's the 2 Battle Pass tanks that just came up. We'll look at it. There's some, I think there's a couple possibilities in there. This article is talking about the SFAC 105 and the DBV, the main stars in 2025. The SFAC has broken the top 5 Tier 8 tanks by statistics. I don't know, guys. Let's look at that, because I looked at that and said, I'm not sure that's actually true. So let's go look first. The DBV is definitely played like crazy. Let's see here. Oh, we don't want
It's
that.
one of those tanks that people got for all the reasons why they got them. But it's one of those that just is going to get massively played, like the old Scorpion G. Massively played for like 6 months, and then it'll just drop off a cliff.
Well, I don't know, and that's kind of what this article's sort of getting at, that it's going to be, that it's like the new top thing and might be OP. I don't know about the OP thing. What it said is it's a better Grill 15. I haven't played it much, so I don't really know. I will say that right now, and again, it was just released, but right now it's played twice as much as the next, close to twice as much as the next tier 10 tank overall, which is the FV. The top 3 are TDs. The DBV, the 4005, and the Grill. This is on EU. What does NA have to do?
Yeah.
NA, close to, actually the top 4 are the same. It's just a place has changed. DBV, 4005, Grill, and Leopard. On NA, same 4, but the Leopard and the Grill change places by just a couple hundred battles. Enough as makes no difference. Same thing on NA, though. Twice as much as the 4005. That's wild. More than twice as much.
Yeah, but the 4005 is played mostly for the fun of it, isn't it? I mean, people do it. People don't. I don't believe people seriously take the 4005 out on a mission type. You know, I'm going to play this for 30 battles. I think they do it because they love taking 1,000 hit points off people, and they do it for basically shits and the giggles, isn't it? So that's slightly skewed. People are doing it for a different reason. Yeah, it's played that many times. I understand and get that, but then the reasoning behind it isn't because it's a great tank or an OP tank, because it's not. It's just a one.
Yeah, it's dropping 1,000 or occasionally deleting a whole tier 8 out of the game, that kind of thing. The DBV doesn't really do that, but it still has 800 alpha, and it's got enough mobility and a turret. Essentially, it's a heavy.
Yeah.
You know, with kind of almost medium, with slow medium speed and fast heavy speed. You know, it's just kind of, it's sort of a jack of all trades. You see them all over the place. You see people push with them, and yeah, well, the 4005. You know why it's a good?
Plays the 4005 as a scout.
It's because it's so tall. You can put a guy way up on top of that, and he can see forever.
Yeah, you get all the spotting assist.
It's got its own observation tower.
Yeah,
the guy way up on top of there.
Dear.
So I don't know. The article talks about that. This one maybe is close to that. I didn't see the argument as much for the SFAC. If we sort by games played at tier 8, this is NA. The SFAC's pretty far down here. Way down here. So 34,000. So I don't know. But if you go for win rate, it's a bit higher. It's sitting here in the top 10. But it's no Charlemagne, although that's an outlier. BZ-176 Grom. I mean, the Grom appears to be more of a problem than the SFAC, fellas. You know, holy cow, look at it, 55%.
I concur with that. I think the Grom definitely.
If we go just by TDs, though, it is it, where is it, TDs wise, at tier 8? It's still pretty far down. I mean, goodness, you got XM57's 128,000 games, Scorpion. All these guys are ahead. Even a Tech Tree, RHM, is ahead of the SFAC. Now, the SFAC was a fairly limited run. This is another thing where, you know, stats, it's hard to tell. There aren't that many SFACs out there as compared to Scorpions, Su-130s, RHMs, Scorpion Gs, blah, blah, blah. So it's hard to tell. You got to take everything into account. It does have a good win rate, though. If we do this, it's number 2 in win rate, right behind the Grom. But only minus 0.15% win rate differential, so it doesn't really have that good of a win rate differential. Of course, then you got to look at pretty good players are still playing it. I mean, you could dig into these stats for days and argue every one of them. I guess the point of all this is I don't really think these are necessarily a problem. The DBV could be, but we got to wait a bit and see what happens. My problem with them is they're good. Whether they're OP is another question, but they're TDs. And in the case of the DBV, games are covered up in the damn things. It's not like we didn't have a TD problem to begin with, and that's going to go back to the matchmaker thing. You know. All right, we got, that's console, don't care. This is the article I was talking about, the shift in distribution. These are the tanks introduced via open sales. and I think they missed maybe that UDES thing. But ISU
Was it sale though? It wasn't definitely not attached to an event.
well, they said the guy said it was a sale, so I don't know if they missed it or
Okay.
what happened there. But anyway, ISU Skoda, I didn't realize that was just sold. Vipera was just sold. Gsor, and the KV4 Turkananov. Don't know.
Weren't they Christmas boxes though? Wasn't the G-Saw a Christmas box? No.
No, that was the auto loading TD one.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Yeah. No, Cliffy 14th anniversary sale. So that was then attached to the 14th anniversary then.
Well, that would be weird to me that they wouldn't include that, but maybe that's what they're talking about, Cliffy. Loot boxes, auctions, marathons, and similar events. Only about one new tank a year is released straightforward in open sales, I guess. But even if it was attached to the anniversary, you just bought it, right? That seems like an open sale.
You didn't have
But
to do anything for it. Yeah.
I guess, if there wasn't some mission you had to do or thing. I think so, Cliffy. That's what it's getting at with this article when I read it. See if there's more listed. I don't think there is. Trend of releasing one per, shift away from direct purchases. Yeah.
I think Andy the Cupid had a really good game by the looks of that.
Was he having fun with 2 times Artie?
No, well, there's all sorts in there.
Let's see.
There was a 4005, a Death Star.
Yeah.
If I'd seen the purple team like that, I think I might have just gone. I'll go for the spotted assist here. I don't bother with anything else.
Ideally, you were playing a leopard and blew up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving full speed across the map, the 4005 lead fire and blew you up in one shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was point man.
It could have been. Yeah, I think that might be a distinction without a difference, Cliffy. Because if it was sold, just because it was sold at the 14th anniversary, if there wasn't something else you had to do, it wasn't really an event. It was just sold. You were in the Leo? You're kidding me. I knew it. I knew it. You did win. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
But did you blow up? That's what I want to know. Did you blow up?
Oh dear.
Well, fellas, once again, I must report that Panzer children are coming back.
Jeepers creepers.
This time it's St. Gloriana Girls College. Anyway, I think this has been kind of news that's been out. Pretty sure it's going to be the Centurion Mark 1 is going to be the collab tank. There's a possibility that there's this Churchill 7A, I guess, which was previously unknown but has screenshots. So don't know. One of these 2 tanks is going to be the collab, I guess. Popped the Manti and cleaned up the Artie. Nice. 1v1 with the 60 TP. Very nice. Okay, this is just the update. We know that. What are you? Something about diamond rings. I don't know. They have kind of funny articles in here at times. Bunch of BS. Polished steel. That's what update 128 was called. Polished steel. They name them every once in a while. I guess it was significant enough that they had to name it. I don't know.
Well, they're polished. That's like polishing a turd, isn't it? Polished steel. Call it polish a turd.
Oh boy.
MM being the turd, being well and truly polished, and it's been issued onto EU Server 1 just for Pilgrim this weekend. Okay? It was a polished turd.
All right. For Pilgrim.
For Pilgrim.
To be fair, I mostly hid. Good. It's good when the team does the work. That way you can be much relaxed. All right. I've been bombed by Artie like crazy.
I've seen a lot. Do you know what? A tier 10. A lot of 2 to 3 tier Artie. Sorry, 3 Artie per game in tier 10.
And some of it
2
is...
to 3.
Some of it is like on the move, hauling ass, and just like direct hits by M40. Like everything. It's been crazy. I very often keep multiple games in a row with Artie to make a complaint video. But
Yeah, you have to.
I would say a dozen times I've deleted them going, nobody wants to hear me whine about Artie. So I have another build up. I don't know.
No.
We'll see. I wish I'd included it in this week's Miserable Monday, because I had, just yesterday after I'd done the video, I had some beautiful, just me running and getting nailed by Artie and just wrecked.
Yeah, yeah.
Really,
Especially
Cliffy?
if you're in a tier 9 and you're in a tier 9-10 game, it's horrendous when the Artie's tier 10. Because the amount of times I've been absolutely exploded into tiny little bits by artillery at tier 10. So I'm in a tier 9, doing well, getting myself, 1,500 damage, doing all the good stuff that tier 9s do in a tier 9-10 battle. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, becomes this massive shell from a shitty clicker on the red line in his tier 10 Artie that just destroys me. And I'm like, oh, back to the garage then. Thank you. Oh, that is so... I should have saved those for you, for your miserable Monday, because they're bloody miserable for me, I tell you.
So the Artie thing, when you finish up a battle with Artie in it, guys, I would say, anecdotally, but I think it's true, the majority of Artie players at this point in the game are your very dedicated Artie players.
Yes,
Now, it's like anyone in the game. Rarely do you find someone who's only Artie. But when you go look at their stats, their top, 5 tanks, and sometimes with a bullet, like the LEF or the M44 or the M30, 53, 55, whatever, their top tanks will be Artie. I often check the Artie players just to see what kind of thing I'm dealing with here. And, occasionally you get the guy who's doesn't even really have any Artie in the top 10. They play him for missions, or they're just goofing around, or whatever the case may be. But usually, and again, it's anecdotal, but I think it's actually true. Right now in this game, if you run into an Artie player, it's a very dedicated Artie player at this point.
Yeah.
Very dedicated.
Yeah, like Andy the Cupid said, that he ran into one with 200,000 battles, Artie battles. And I get it. Some people are very good at it.
200,000.
But that pisses you off even more, because you know that whatever you did in that battle, you were never getting away from the Artie shot, were you? Because you could jinx and you could backtrack and you could do this and you could do that, and you just know he's seen you going, yep. The minute you stop, I'm going to take you out. Easy as that.
Yeah. Oh man, crazy. All right. This. I play Artie for the 7 crits. Artie elite levels are either maxed or 0. Yeah, let's look at Artie actually. How much has Artie played now? I haven't looked at Artie stats in a long time.
Well, you have a look at the standard 9s and 10s, the French Arties. I bet they've played a load.
I mean, 94,000 is a lot, but it's not that much, really. I mean, the 53, 55, there's your usual suspect. 261. I mean, even the M44, where is it? Oh, wait, no, it's a tech tree. There we go. All right, so it's 40,000. That's NA. I mean, that's a lot, but where does it exist here? 94. All right, so it's in the top 10. How far do we get before we get to the M44? Pretty far down here. I don't know. What about EU? Artie-wise, we got, 739 for the object, 261 and 518 for the 53, 55.
Yeah.
So 739, but that 739 is only enough to be in the top 10 just about or so for the 261. So it's not super gross, I guess. Don't know.
It's noticeable. I think it's noticeable definitely at tier 9 and 10, because lower down in the tiers, I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot here, but lower down in the tiers, they're not that accurate and they don't cause that much damage unless you're in a leaf or something like that. Whereas at 9 and 10, they are game changers sometimes, because they just whack big lumps off people.
It's I know we've gone over this so much, but for me, the bottom line with Artie is they're not threatened, and they get to affect the game. So if you get you're being aggressive or whatever. It's theoretically there to dig out tanks that supposedly are too hull down and nobody can figure out how to beat them, I guess. That's one of the reasons. What it turns out to be is I'm in my light tank getting bombed by Artie. Because they know where the light tank spots are. And I get lit and all of a sudden 3 Arties shoot at me in my light tank. I mean, it's just...
Because they're pre-aimed on you.
Or I get to low hit points and I'm absolutely just slugging it out, fighting it out, trying to figure out how to win, having a good game going, and then get randomly slapped from a guy. As I've always said, it wouldn't matter if they did 1 damage. The fact that they can do it from the red line without being threatened is just stupid. It's a stupid game mechanic. Yeah. It is. I feel bad for Artie players because they've got kicked in the junk a bunch, but it's a dumb game mechanic that deserves to be kicked in the junk.
Do you know what makes me go to play Artie? What makes me go to play Artie? I've had a bad game, predominantly because Artie's focused on me.
Yeah.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
So the very next game, I go, sod it, I want to be that Artie player. So I go and dig out the M44 and focus some poor sap on some corner of a rock. Just keep walloping him, you know what I mean?
So I used to do that, but my purpose for it, and unfortunately Wargaming has screwed this up so badly that Counter Artie, not that it was ever really good, is at its worst situation that it's ever been. It's almost impossible without an absolute direct hit. You used to be able to splash other Artie to death. Now now it's crap.
Yeah,
and where the marker comes out and where the tank actually is hard to tell. It's
100%.
It's total BS. Counter battery used to be awesome, and I would routinely nuke people, even if they moved. I'd routinely nuke them. Now you can't. Now it's just.
It was great when it came up on the screen. You see this little black dot because you've just wasted him with a shell, and it comes up and you've killed him.
Well, you see the little kill things show up.
Yeah.
You're like,
cool.
Yes.
Yes, get in.
Right, Grendel? Now it's pointless, and it used to be awesome because you actually could help your team with counter battery. In the dark days when there was a while in this game, probably 8 years ago, maybe now, 8 or 9, where Artie was actually starting to reign supreme. You know what I mean? You'd have 3 or 4 Artie in a game, and if you poked your head, you got whacked.
Yeah.
But if there were 3 or 4 enemy Artie, and with the way the tracer went, and you were good at counter Artie, you could take out their guys after their first shot. It was awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, there were times on some maps where I could kill people before they even shot because I knew where they were going to be.
Absolutely, because you know yourself where the Artie spots are mostly, and also if you focus right in, you can see where the fence has been knocked down.
Yeah,
you can see a little couple of fence posts lying flat.
Or you see it, or you would see a tree go down, and you shoot in, and because the splash was good enough, you'd be able to get him. You can't do that now, as Grendel said. I mean, almost a direct hit, and it splashes for 200.
Yeah,
and then once that guy gets hit once, he's gonna move from then on.
Of course he is. Yeah.
So now you have less of a chance. It's just irritating to me, actually. All right, so that obviously is part of the matchmaker issue, but this change is not aiming at Artie in any way because they've already done that.
Yeah, they've already done that.
It tries to do 2 max. Sometimes you get 3, and that's the kind of idea that they have going on here. And I did the video yesterday, so a lot of you might have watched that and understand. So we're going to kind of rehash some of that stuff as we go through it. But for those of you who didn't watch the video, plus this is interactive, which is nice. So triangles are 80% as bad as... I would agree, Cliffy. Yeah, I don't think that's controversial.
Yeah. Quantity is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't mind having TDs, but not 2/3 of the team.
Well, and the fact that it's the TD can't reach over the hardcover, but the same thing applies. If you poke your nose out, and you've got 800 or 750 or at tier 8 some 500 hit point hitters, never mind the FV and doing a grand plus all that BS.
Yeah.
Bunch of guys sitting in the back with the firing lanes because they know where those are because that's all they do. Yeah, getting thumped by TDs. What do they say here? So 15 years evolving, blah blah blah. They talk about it's not meeting our goals. they never really state what their goals are, other than it does eventually get down here. Where is it? Balanced battles, engagement and battle variety, speed and efficiency. My big argument in that video, if you didn't watch it, is Matchmaker is half the problem. That's not true. Matchmaker,
No.
changing Matchmaker does not address the actual major problem, which to me, won't even go through all it. We'll just get the cat out of the bag, is the number of overpowered tanks. If you look at the number of tanks played, yeah, I apologize for the stutter, guys. I don't know. There's nothing I can really do about that. Let's take a look at it real quick here. Yeah, it's definitely being a pain in the rear. Is it doing it a lot or just a little? So I can try to shut it down and reconnect. That sometimes works.
I'm not seeing it my end, but I'm lagged anyway to you.
Looks like it's doing okay now. All right, we'll just press on, fellas. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's just the number of squares. That's one thing. And then the usual suspects, right? If we go back over here and we look at the most played tanks, we'll go on EU because it's got big numbers and those are always fun. DBV, ELC, Barask, 4005, Grill, now the XM57, Leopards, not really a problem. Progettos with the autoloader, camping SU-132s, autoloading bat chats, artillery, another bushwanker, an autoloader, the stupid wheeled tank. You get the picture, right? Autoloaders and ridiculousness. All these tanks. Is there even a heavy in here? Or a medium? A bat chat. And a char. There's two mediums. And I guess the KPZ, which I believe is also an autoloader, right? So if it is a medium, it's an autoloader.
Yeah.
It's a bushwanker, a light tank, a stupid wheeled tank, or an autoloader. Right?
Just give up.
Yeah. IS-7 is the first kind of cyclical standard heavy. It's a pretty good one. Another bushwanker, an autoloader, a super stealthy tank, a bushwanker, then the Contender, which is a new heavy, and then another arty, autoloader, double two-shot autoloader, bushwanker, another new tank, artillery, then an E100, big giant bushwanker, and a Leopard. So of these top 30 or so, there's a couple standard medium tanks like the Leopard and the Leopard PTA. There's a couple heavies, but these are double-barreled heavies that are new, so that kind of makes sense. And then there's one cyclical IS-7. And everything else is essentially a bushwanker, an autoloader, or a triangle.
Yeah.
Well, bushwanker and triangle, but assault triangle. There's your problem.
Yeah.
Right? There's your issue.
Yeah.
That's your issue. Now the question becomes, so if you just change matchmaker, you go, all right, we're going to change that by making matchmaker rules so those guys don't. Well, there's not so many in the game. Well, that's not going to stop people from playing them. So now you just have a slower matchmaker.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do,
right.
yes.
That's all you have. The issue is people like them. Why do they like them? Well, because they're good. Because they're outliers, especially things like the ELC even 90 with its insane camo.
And the game changes because they are these are tanks which mid-game are effective, very effective mid-game, and they can change the game. The number of especially at tier 10, the number of battles you have where you think you're heading to roll over the opposite team, and then about a third of the way in, it just reverses itself because you've got all these TDs taking huge lumps out of you when you're trying to fight aggressive.
Let's do the top 5 TDs. How many times have they played? 2 million, 3.5, 3.1, 4 million, 5 million, 5.8. So roughly 6 million games in the top 5 TDs. Maybe maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. 6 million, right?
Yeah.
Not even close. Heavies, not even close.
No.
Mediums, closer. 2, 3.6, closer. 4 million something. Autoloader, 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 the Leopard.
You couldn't make it up, can you? You can't make it up.
Light tanks.
This is Wargaming's own stats. Really.
Interesting. Light tanks, certainly not 6 million. What, 2 million, 2.5, 3 point something. All right. Autoloader, super stealth. Stupid wheeled tank, super stealth. New tank with autocannon. Kind of ELC even 90s, bigger, slightly worse brother, the Batchat 12T. Same gameplay. So that right here, fellas, this is why you see so many triangles. Also, what we can do, and we've talked about this last week, you can take the Scorpion and add the other Scorpion to that number. So this is even worse than you think it is, because the Scorpion G and the 130 PM have a few extra battles off of the regular Scorpion and the Forest Spirit.
That other one. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Forest Spirit. So you're getting lag. All right, guys, I'm going to shut it down and bring it right back up. Let's see if we can get a better connection. Hold on. All right, we're back. I'm not saying this will work, but let's see what happens. Yuri's angry. Yeah, I might be getting a DDS attack.
You're getting a DDS.
Okay, so back to this. Again, my point is that they're not addressing part of the issue. It's, as it always is, right, Pilgrim, it's not just one thing. It's the combo of the things. But if you don't address one of the more important pieces of it, then I don't think you're going to get the result that you're looking for. You might put a Band-Aid on it or help it a little bit, and I wish them luck. You know,
yeah.
I hope whatever they're doing here, but I feel like all they're doing is very similar to the wheeled tank EBR thing. They didn't fix the EBR, really. There was a nerf in there somewhere, but they didn't really fix the issue. They just made it so there's only one per game. Okay.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I mean, what they've done is created a separate class within the light tank class. So that the EBR becomes its own class.
Exactly. Artillery, they didn't really fix the issue with the mechanic because it's unfixable. They just limited the amount of pain that it can cause.
Yeah.
Light tanks, they didn't really fix the issue with super stealthy light tanks. They just limited the amount that are going to be on a team. And they're going to do that. Realize this is all in test, so who knows what the final thing will be. They're going
like it said on the article, they're going to introduce it into EU1 first.
Yeah.
So it'll be introduced into EU1. It'll be a live test for however long they're going to do it for. So it'll be interesting to see. Which is why I got the wrong end of the stick. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what the results are like out of that.
Yeah.
That'd be quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, yeah, a lazy fix. You're right, Jimmy. A lazy fix.
So the big thing here, number one, is the rolls thing. And this, I have had an issue with this at times. You get on, say, Himmelsdorf, and you've got the 50B and the T-57, and they've got the Maus and the U-100. It's not necessarily a plus or minus, but it is true that on certain maps, all else being equal, those super heavies are an advantage in a city over the autoloaders, especially the way people tend to play autoloaders. But on a more wide open map, the autoloaders might be an advantage as well. Not necessarily. I think most maps, the super heavy is an advantage over an autoloader, but not always. This one, they're going to just do a little swap-a-rooney so that one team doesn't have both of these. But then, of course, the question becomes, what is that logic? Because there are four kinds of heavy tanks. It's not just a case of super heavies. I think what's the U-100? It's not. I keep saying super heavy, but it's not its role. Its role is breakthrough heavy.
Yeah, you've got light support heavy, or a support heavy, breakthrough heavy tank.
Oh, it's an assault heavy.
An assault heavy.
And like an IS-4 is assault heavy. A 277 is a breakthrough heavy. Then you got the autoloaders, which are support, versatile heavy, versatile, breakthrough. There's one other, right? Is there a support? Is that the autoloaders? Their support? Where's that dumb thing?
Sniper heavy tank.
ST2
What
is
about a spotter heavy tank like the Mouse? That's a good spotter.
That's right. It's definitely a good spotter. Support heavy tank. There aren't very many of those. Looks like it's the. Is it just the two autoloaders? Is the Rhinoceronte a support? It is. Looks like it's the autoloaders are kind of the Kron. Yeah, it's the Kron, Rhinoceronte, AMX, and I guess the T-57.
Zimbo.
Yeah.
Red Line heavy tank, Arty Guard heavy tank. I've seen that before. Heavy tank sat with the Arty.
That's an
Well,
over.
after Arty.
That's an overarching classification. So they're going to attempt that. 5 TDs. That's just a hard cap on TDs. Of course, in a low population server like NA, at certain times of the day, a lot of those rules have to be relaxed just to get a game going on. But
Yeah.
all else being equal, they're going to try to keep it to 5 TDs and 3 LTs. Somebody made a good point on one of their comments on the video. Let's say because I don't think there's going to be people playing less of anything. This is just going to.
I don't think. No. Yeah.
This is just going to take the player base as it is. I don't think it's going to change anybody's play habits, and then it's going to try to jam that into a new matchmaker thing. So essentially, based on how many TDs we see, you're going to have a game with 5 TDs, 3 LTs, and 2 artillery. That's 10 slots.
Yeah.
10 of the slots taken up by that stuff, and then you've got 5 slots for heavies and
Mediums.
And let's say you, well, actually 3 LTs counts in EBR, so I don't think that really necessarily counts. Are there any other rules involved? You would have 5 TDs, 3 light tanks, no more than 2 artillery. Yeah, so that'd be 5. There'd be 3 slots for mediums and heavies. It will increase triangle wait time, I think, and let's say it does change a triangle player's mind to maybe not play their TD as much because they're waiting. They go, all right, I'll just play a heavy that I can snipe with, or a medium, and they'll still be back there. They'll be at the heavy or medium tank TD. Their play style is not going to change, I don't think.
No, I mean if you've got there you go, T-57 for example, you're probably going to hang back a little bit and snipe just like a TD, because you've got that 3-shot clip or whatever it is. So
yeah, Bruin. But I think here's the problem with people who believe they can socially engineer stuff. Generally, social engineers completely discount human nature.
yeah.
For some reason, and I don't know why it is, but they believe that their engineering will somehow overcome human nature. That's the fatal flaw in any kind of system that attempts to use human engineering. Because what you get when you try to do engineering like that, social engineering of things, is you create different incentives that you didn't realize, and it never goes the way you think it's going to go.
No, because exactly what I would do if I was in a TD and I had a 3-minute wait time, I'd switch over to an artillery piece because I know I'd get in the game earlier. That'd force me down the artillery route.
That human's play style is to sit in the back and snipe, and it doesn't matter what they play. That's what they're going to do.
Yep,
right.
absolutely.
Now, obviously, there's sometimes people who are TD players will get a medium and go, I'll go play up front. I get that. What I'm talking about is the standard kind of gameplay that they do, and I don't think that changes anything. Even worse than that, though, it might drive them away.
Well, that's the other point, isn't it? It might just go, well, I mean, we've got a superb TD player in the clan, and he won't mind me saying that, and he is a really top-notch TD player. And I know for a fact if they forced any issue onto TDs, he would just go, sod it, I'm not playing this game anymore, because he loves doing the TD thing, and he's very, very good at it, and he's good on your team.
That or just play less.
Yeah, you'll just go, well, if you're going to nerf all the TDs or make TDs more strangled or do whatever, then I'll play less. I won't play anything else. I'll just play less.
But if you get close, you get that little bonus with that perk.
Yeah.
So everyone get together.
All the TDs can come together, so when I play my arty, I can take out 4 tanks in one go. That'd be fun.
Come together right now.
Right now.
TD player. All right. They're going to try to make more tier plus or minus 1 tier battles. I see a lot of those. I don't have any problem with the number of same tier plus or minus one or 2 tier battles right now. I don't.
That's true, Ultimate. I get that. The TDs don't have armor, but there are assault TDs, aren't there? And all the rest of it. So, yeah. I understand the reasoning behind TD players not being up front. Because there's no way of going... There's no point in a soft armored TD going up front, getting killed on the first shot and out of the gate.
No.
I get that completely. Yeah. But there are times when you can be much more effective than just sitting behind a boulder on the red line. So you need to look at the map and play the game.
Right. There is a time when you might want to press the W button. And then the T95 and JPZ sitting in the back are always fun.
Yeah, you got to say, if there's a JPZ sat at the back line, you just have to say, fella, just get off the game. You're not doing me any favours at all.
So none of this, by the way, guys, is me saying don't do anything. That's not the case.
No.
If it's, I wish them luck. I don't think this is going to do what they want it to do, I guess. I don't think you create balance by rearranging unbalanced tanks. I guess that's my bottom line. I don't know how much matchmaker magic you have to have before you balance unbalanced tanks. Somebody did mention another good point in the comments is they used to have kind of a weighting system for tanks. So, and I never really knew what it was. And I don't think anyone knew what it was, but apparently it did take into account some aspect of its relative strength, which meant not all 8s were created equal, essentially, or 10s or 9s. Not all tiers were created equal, and within tiers, and they would do a little bit of that kind of thing to try to help with balance on tanks. Again, but that's ignoring the reason the imbalance is there, and the reason the imbalance is there is on premiums and reward tanks. They don't mess with them very much. They don't nerf them or change them. And you can even look at it the other way. They don't buff them either very much. They certainly buff them more than they nerf them, but they don't buff. Like the KR-46 is just an ultimate piece of trash.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think really there's no one quick fix. You would have to really redevelop the game and all the tanks within the game to be able to sit down and create a perfectly balanced feature. And they will not have the coding time or the will to want to sit down and redesign the game.
I don't think anybody, unless you're an idiot, believes, and I'm not talking to you at all, but I don't think anyone believes.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, you are.
I don't think anyone is expecting perfect matchmaker. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Right.
But at least a fair representation of perfect.
Better,
where,
better, right?
Yeah,
better than what we have.
You've got equal. You've got not only you've got equal classes each side, but you've got equal strengths each side. So you haven't got a T57 against an E100 or whatever it might be. So you've got that fair. So everybody has a fair chance, and everybody's got the same makeup.
Yeah.
The number, before they brought in a lot of the changes they've already brought in, the number of times you would see the other team have a three or four heavies and you would have 2 or 3 was almost every
that
time.
was painful. That was definitely painful because that was also a hit point issue as well. And I think they've largely fixed it. I would say about 2 years ago was about as good as it got. But unfortunately, we've accelerated the OP tank release thing, and we haven't done any balance on the actual tanks. So the divergence of what was a pretty good matchmaker to what we have now is increasing. And that the reason is the overpowered tanks, overtuned tanks, and not the matchmaker. The matchmaker is still working well, putting tanks together. It's just that you have imbalances in tanks. And you can occasionally have imbalances in skill, and that is a whole nother subject.
Well, that's a different ball game altogether, isn't it? Because that you see, in some games, skill matchmaker is a good thing to have. I would find it very difficult how you would implement that in World of Tanks. In some games, it's correct, like Call of Duty or something like that. You have skill-based players, with the same facility, with the same equipment, all the rest of it. With tanks, is that so? What is going to determine your skill? Is it going to be your win rate? Is it going to be your number of battles you've played? Is it going to what's the determinant?
Well, there's a lot of variables too because the the tank you're playing, the tiering that you happen to be in.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could be
Yeah.
a fantastic player down 2 tiers in a crummy tank.
Yeah.
And while you're going to
So
have more of
when
an
you get
effect,
back-
while you're going to have more of an effect than anyone else at that tier, probably, you're dealing with upper tier stuff that can hurt you. So I don't know if that's necessarily part of it. I just really think that it's the tank balance piece is being left out of this, so I think they're missing an opportunity to cover one of the issues that's an issue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hope this works, but it feels like to me a band-aid over top of one of the major issues, which is their tank balance problem.
Yeah.
So I don't-
feel it's going to be a it's going to be a little a little plaster on the big cut.
Yeah, you're just going to have a few less of some overpowered tanks and a few more of other overpowered tanks because people aren't going to change the tanks they play. They play the tanks they play because they're overpowered or
Yeah.
good or that's their game style. You know, so you get a bunch of triangles because people generally your medium to below average players will play a lot of tanks like that. People gravitate to the Burr because it's good, the Progetto, the ELC, the DBV, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. See, Zimbo's trying out the new MM on EU. Well done, Zimbo.
Is it live right now on EU1? I didn't catch that. It didn't
no,
seem
it's
to
not.
explain
No,
when
it's
it was
not.
going to be.
Well, if it is, my stats are right then.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, true. Let's see. Sheer number. We will carry out a series of tests. I don't think it's live. They did say how they're going to do it, but it doesn't indicate here that it's live, and there are no dates given, so I don't think so.
Only in my world.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, new matchmaker, guys. I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. I don't. As I said, I don't want to be totally negative. It's not necessarily that case. I hope it works. I don't
at least
see how
they
it will.
recognise the problem. I think one of the biggest factors with wargaming is their lack of public acknowledgement of various things within the game. So at least they're publicly acknowledging that they feel that there is a problem with the MM, given the player base feedback. So
Yeah.
that's a positive thing because normally wargaming don't say sod all about anything, do they? You know, it's very,
Well, that's
they
interesting,
keep their
Cliffy.
mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, actually. Because when you first said that, I sort of thought maybe they were just doing other little things, but these might be the things they're doing. Yeah.
So do you think he knows the
Did you-
inside story? Do you think
Were
it's
you
already in
playing?
there?
Were you playing on EU1?
I was on EU1 from Friday through Saturday evening. I played 30 games over the 2 days, and I was getting a 75% win rate. But that wasn't the business. The business was the setups of the tanks were like the setup of the team. Sorry, were like tank for tank. I was playing predominantly. I was doing the conceiver as I'm trying to grind through to the next tier for that, and almost every game I was in the conceiver, there was a conceiver on the opposite side, and then you could see that the tanks were being matched. So that's why I thought it was running on EU, because I was thinking, this is brilliant. Nobody's got an overpowered team compared to my team. It's the same. So it's now down to how you play the game is how well you do.
Well, maybe this is a tail wagging the dog article. Let's
don't
get
know.
let's
I
get
don't
into
know.
conspiracy
Yeah, maybe.
theories. Maybe they actually put this on EU1 some weeks ago, and they've already gathered a bunch of data. And maybe they've been tweaking it and
Yeah.
working it as it goes, here and there, and then when they actually say, all right, the test is going on, they've already done some of it, and they I don't know, who knows? I don't know.
I don't
Patriot
know.
says
It's just-
he hasn't noticed any different. Hey man, don't throw cold water on our conspiracies.
Yes, Pilgrinomics is happening right now on EU1.
Man,
Go
we
and play
had just built a great conspiracy, and Patriot's like, no
Nope.
conspiracies. Well, man, that's about all I got, my friends. We've been at it for 2 hours.
Well, you have.
Everyone's been here for an hour and a half.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a lie down now.
I'm tired. I got a lot of stuff. I have to actually do. I got some leaky faucets, so I bought 2 new ones. So I have to go into the master bath and put 2 new faucet systems in. So that's going to be tons of fun.
It's just ongoing, isn't it? Ongoing your
Yeah.
house renovation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's find somebody
Well, anyway,
to
good to be here.
Find someone to raid.
Well, have a good weekend, everybody.
Absolutely.
Those of you that are, we've got an extra hour in bed.
Let's see. Who's out there? There's a lot of ladies doing the International Women's Day thing going on.
Oh, dear.
Who we got? I don't know. I don't know these people. Anderzel. Know nothing about him. We'll raid Anderzel.
Just random people.
Appreciate everybody coming by. Thanks for the subs. Got quite a few today. That was fantastic. Guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for all the interaction with the matchmaker video. That was really good. Lots of good interaction here as well. We'll see what happens. You know, I wish them luck. I hope they do well with it.
Yeah.
All right, we start the raid here. A 5, a tree, a 2, a 1. You guys have a great one. Pilgrim, it's Guido signing off from the left side Atlantic.
The Pilgrim signing off from the correct side of the Atlantic, sir.
See ya.